Crimson Trace announces Laser Guard Pro for today's most popular concealed carry firearms, combining a red or green laser sight with 150 lumen light, taking personal defense to the next level. Available now at your local dealer.
The number one national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
You know, sometimes you just cannot make up this stuff. You remember, if you've been at this a while, Dianne Feinstein, senator from California, when she was interviewed on 60 Minutes with the whole Clinton gun ban of 1994, the so-called assault weapon ban, where she said, if I could have gotten the votes, if I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate, I would have banned them all, picked them up, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in. A total ban on these rifles. This story comes out of KPIX, a CBS affiliate in San Francisco. New details emerged Wednesday about how a mole for the government of Communist China managed to stay by Dianne Feinstein's side for nearly 20 years. Wow. Let's see. They're saying that staffer for Senator Feinstein turned out to be a Chinese spy who reported back to the government officials about local politics. He was her driver, gopher, had some other functions there. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's see. New study out. This is from, Pew Research on defensive gun uses. They're saying, did I read this right? 7%, 7% of adults in the poll said they have defended themselves, their family, or possessions with a gun by firing it or threatening to fire it. 17% of self-identified gun owners say that they have used guns defensively by that definition. That would come to some numbers in the millions of defensive gun uses. That gels pretty much with the National Self-Defense Survey, which came up with 2.5 million defensive gun uses per year. So pretty consistent, even though the gun ban industry would like to say people don't really use guns for self-defense. Yeah, right. Okay. Let's see. Brad is in Topeka, Kansas, on line one. Hey, Brad, you're on Gun Talk. Rolling Stone. Did you read the article?
Yeah, Tom, are you aware of an article that was on the Drudge Report several days ago from the Rolling Stone about the state of New York and the NRA?
Yes, I'm aware of that article.
It's a left-wing publication, and I just wondered, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, let me tell people what the article claimed, because I use that word critically. It's very carefully. The article claimed that the NRA was saying we're about to go bankrupt, and that's the story that got picked up everywhere, is that the gun control effort is bankrupt the NRA and they're going to go out of business. And that was picked up everywhere. Well, that's not what the NRA said. They're engaged in a lawsuit against the state of New York to say that the state is telling businesses don't do business with the NRA. And the NRA is suing to say, wait a minute, you could conceivably, and this is what they said, you could conceivably cause our insurance company to stop working with us, and if we had no insurance, we could not continue to operate. That's what they said. They didn't say we're about to cease or we're not going to be able to operate. They just said this kind of practice where you're telling companies to don't do business with us could logically end up at this point. So, but they said, the NRA says that they're going to lose their insurance and are going to go out of business.
Well, Tom, I have the article pulled up, and I'm not sure what district court in the state of New York this was filed, but it claims that the NRA's insurance partners agreed to stop selling policies, and this was regarding Carry Guard.
Yeah, that's a whole different deal.
And
that's
they
the
paid
Carry
a
Guard
$7 million fine.
Correct.
Now, also the NRA is claiming that Governor Cuomo is trying to use the financial institutions to block other insurance carriers from insuring, like media that the NRA does, and of course this carry guard. So, it's a free speech issue, and I'm very concerned about this.
It's a free speech on the part of NRA being able to exercise free speech. The governor is trying to shut down the NRA to kill it off by choking off financial services. This is just an outgrowth of President Obama's Operation Choke Point, where the idea was to get to financial institutions and tell them, you do not want to be doing business with anybody in the firearms business, because if you do, we're going to send our regulators in and we're going to harass you endlessly. And so a lot of local banks stopped doing business with gun stores, local gun stores, people who made firearm stocks for rifles, optics. And I mean, it was designed to destroy, make no mistake, to destroy the firearms industry. And that was under Obama. And then that got stopped, but on the federal level. But now New York is trying to do the same thing.
I was thinking, what could the ordinary gun owner do to help in this situation? Should they contact their local local senator that is
I would think
in their state?
I'm thinking maybe
what should they do?
Yeah, 3 or 4 things come to mind. And yeah, it's a good point. I would, first of all, I'd contact my U.S. senators and say, this is what's going on, and you need to be looking into this, and maybe it's time for some Senate hearings on this kind of restraint of trade. 2 is to make sure, as simple as this sounds, make sure that every gun owner you know is a member of the NRA. I mean, if you're not, shame, shame, shame on you, And the third might be, although this is like, you can't say it on radio, it would be a futile gesture, let's put it that way, but contacting the state of New York and saying, knock it off. I'm going to make sure that I don't ever travel to your state or spend any money there, but they don't care. So, I mean, it's like that's pretty much worthless. I guess the fourth thing would be to spread the word, because people don't know this is happening, and gun owners need to know what's going on. And, it's one thing if a couple of hundred of us are talking about it, but if you get tens of thousands of us talking about it and use social media to spread the word, could have some impact. I don't know. But look, Brad, I appreciate you bringing it up. It's a big story right now. In fact, let me jump down to Jerome on line 4. I think Jerome wants to talk about basically the same kind of thing. Hey, Jerome.
Yeah, essentially I have the same thing. There's a fellow named of Saul, S-A-A-L, in our local the Standard Examiner, and basically he was dancing on NRA's grave in his Sunday article.
Oh, yeah, but, it's idiotic. It's not happening. But the NRA was making the point that if, logically speaking, if the governor was to shut down, basically just convince all these companies you don't want to do business with the NRA, then they could lose insurance coverage. And then any business cannot exist as a business if it doesn't have insurance. That's like the first thing you have to purchase when you're a business. So I don't care if you're a gas station or anything else. If you don't have that, you cannot stay in business. So, but no, I know Rolling Stone misrepresented, and I think the media is misrepresenting, and the NRA haters, which is interesting. Have you noticed that the fight has changed, and the attack is now against the NRA instead of gun owners or against guns? It's we have to stop the NRA. We have to stop, have to shut it down. And I'm thinking, what do they think? What do they think is going to happen? If you did effectively shut down the NRA, another group would rise up and take its place, because the NRA is just gun owners, you and me, who got together and said, hey, let's combine our resources here to do good things for the Second Amendment. So if that group is gone, another one will just pop up. I don't know what they're thinking. I appreciate the call, Jerome. Let's see. Ron, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you. I need to take a quick break here. 866-TALK-GUN. Tom Gresham, give me a holler. We'll be right back.
Why do hunters and shooters love the Ruger American rifle? With right-handed and left-handed versions, all-weather, Magnum, Compact, Predator, Ranch, and Scope package options, there's a Ruger American for everyone. Lightweight with an adjustable trigger and minute of angle accuracy, Ruger American rifles pack in the features. Is the Ruger American the best rifle on the market? See for yourself at your local retailer or at Ruger.com. That's Ruger.com.
This is Jeff with Black Hills Ammunition. Our Honey Badger line was designed in cooperation with Lehigh Defense. It's a product of my 37 years in law enforcement and 35 years in ammunition manufacturing. This bullet is the future for self-defense. It's what's in my weapon right now. I think that is the ultimate testimonial, when a guy is willing to stake his life on it. For more information, visit the Black Hills Ammunition Facebook page.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at TimneyTriggers.com.
Back with you, 866 Talk Gun gets you in there. Tom Gresham, of course. Check out a lot of things we're doing over at Gun Talk. Just go to guntalk.com. If you have not done it yet, sign up for our newsletter. I just put out a piece in the newsletter this week. It's 7 things you need to know about 3D printed guns. If you want a background on what's going on with 3D printed guns, you can go to our website right now, guntalk.com, and you can just check our newsletter. It's under news, and you'll see that article that I wrote. Let's see, line 3, Ron's out of Arkansas. Hey, Ron, you with us?
Yes, can you hear me?
I got you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sometime back I bought a couple of AR-15s and a Springfield SOCOM. And when you look in the gun magazines now, you see ad after ad for new uppers, new lowers, new barrels, new triggers, new bolts, and all of them are the latest and the best out there. And I'm just wondering, should I have spent, say, the 2 I bought and names are names you talked about on your program. Okay. Should I have spent another $1,000 and maybe bought, quote unquote, a better rifle?
I love the question. It is great. Which models did you buy? What brands?
Bushmaster and Daniel of the Fifth.
Those are excellent. Okay, here's the thing. Yeah. The thing with an AR-15 is this. It is a parts gun. It is a collection of parts. And it is, so you have the option of doing absolutely nothing to your rifles and just shooting them, and they'll work fine and they'll be great. But if you are a tinkerer, and a lot of people treat their guns kind of like people who like to work on their cars. They're always changing. I mean, they never show up with the same gun twice. They're always changing something on it. You're popping off a safety. You're popping off a part. You're putting a new upper, trying a different set of sights. You're trying a new handguard. You're trying a new stock. And because it's so easy with an AR-15, you can just pop them off, pop them on. So the answer to your question is no. There's no reason for you to have spent more. If you want that to happen now, you can do it a piece at a time if you want to. If you say, sometimes you say, you know what? And I would say, offer this. If you did nothing else, if you said, I think I would like to put aftermarket triggers on them. Okay, that's probably would be where I would start if you just want to make an AR-15 shoot better. We work with the folks with Temney triggers. They make great triggers. Put an aftermarket trigger in your gun. You go, oh, wow, that's cool. And now you're off to the races. You may end up stopping there. You may not want to do anything. Or you may be one of those guys that says, I've got to have them all. I'm going to put all these things on. But there's absolutely nothing, Ron, wrong with the guns that you have right now.
Well, I appreciate that. I thought about spending more money on them, but I thought I was spending enough on them at the time. And I don't see any reason I need a new barrel or a new upper or a new lower.
We know what you can do now. You can save that money. You know what you do with it? Buy more guns.
Right on. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate that. Yeah, boy, I'll help you out with that one. Let's see. Matthew is in Louisiana on line 2. Hey, Matthew, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, Tom. So I did a little bit of that, what you call...
the No Shrug True Squad.
Right. Just a minor thing. We were at our church a couple of weeks ago, and during the prayers of the faithful, if anybody's done a Catholic or Episcopal, I think the Episcopalian service is much the same, where we all pray for things that are generally good, and then heard the prayer for an end to gun violence. And I cringed. And I was like, that was the wrong thing. So I just couldn't say anything that week, but the next week I was talking to the deacon about it, and I said, had you ever thought that maybe it's not a gun violence problem we're having in New Orleans, but kind of the way that the war on drugs is being fought? And he just looked at me like, I never thought of that.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I happen to live close enough to New Orleans to get the news, and we have shootings by the night, usually several shootings every night, and they're almost always in the same parts of town by the same identifiable group, and a large, and you're right, a large percentage of them are drug-related and gang-related. They're finally figuring out they have a serious gang problem in New Orleans, as they do in a lot of places. And
the reason why they don't call it a serious gang problem is because they aren't nationwide gangs. They're little street corner gangs, like the 3rd and G gang. Come on!
Yeah, but we got some bad dudes. I mean, you know the deal. I don't have to name the names, but there's some bad people there. That, and for those who don't know, look, I appreciate the call. I mean, we've got folks there. I mean, they're willing to shoot anybody, any time of the day, in any part of town. They're going to hate me for saying it. I try not to go to New Orleans. There are some wonderful parts of town, and it's a wonderful, classic, old city, and I generally just don't go because there's just enough crazies and drug guys and young people who have no regard for human life. And, yeah, I'm always carrying, but I think the smart move is try to avoid that kind of stuff. Just my take on it. Let's see. Charles is on line 1 out of Big Spring, Texas. Hey, Charles, what you got there?
I've got a Model 74 Winchester automatic rifle, 22 long rifle, and you were talking about old guns that you love to shoot. I grew up shooting this gun. It was given to my dad somewhere around 1940. I have no idea how old it is. I don't know what the model number doesn't. Surely it wasn't made in 1874.
Wow. So you're still shooting it, though?
Still shooting it. It's a little bit unique. The magazine is in the stock.
Ah, yes. Okay. That's
Winchester.
Kind of like
Winchester
what Browning did with its semi-auto. Browning's semi-auto was a kind of similar way you'd load the ammo into the stock.
You pull the magazine out and load it from the through the stock.
That is very cool. Well, thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. I hadn't thought about that in a long time. Let me talk with Patricia. She's on 3 out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Hey, Patricia, you're on.
I'm so thrilled. I listen to you all the time. Talk about information. I'm no aficionado in guns, but I was in the Marine Corps. I did carry an M16. We were made to take them apart and put them back together quite often. My I guess, statement, and I also have a question for you, but is that if it weren't for, you had made this comment that authorities have repeatedly said that most people don't defend their own lives with guns. Well, I don't know what they think our military does overseas or even in our own country, but as well, I had confiscated a pistol from an old boyfriend of mine who I felt was, volatile on many different levels. And so I used to, when he would come home with guns, I would just confiscate them. Okay. Well, I had a 38 Smith & Wesson and underneath my bed, and I had an intruder. I had thought I'd heard something earlier in the evening, but and called my neighbor. We live on large plots of property, and asked if they could see a car in my driveway or anything, and they didn't. I wasn't going to open the door. It was 12 midnight. Well, I fell back asleep, and I woke up.
Patricia, can I ask you a quick favor? I am up against a break. Are you where you can hold on? I would love to hear the rest of the story. Okay, we're going to take a break because I don't want to miss this. I kind of know where it's going because I see the notes on the screen, but I don't want people to miss out on this. She's got somebody, an intruder at this point. It's midnight. She's got a gun. Let's see where it ends up. When we come back, Patricia's going to tell us what happened in this story. If you'd like to be part of this, just give me a call, 866-TALK-GUN, or just call Tom Talk Gun. I'm Tom Gresham. It's Gun Talk. Check it out, guntalk.com. And on Twitter, I am at Gun Talk, which makes sense.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Hi, back with you. By the way, this is the 35th anniversary this weekend of President Reagan, when the air traffic controllers had a union called PATCO in 1981, and they went on strike. They were prohibited from going on strike. It's against the law for them to go on strike, but 13,000 of them walked off the job. Reagan said, hey, I'll give you 48 hours to come back. Of course, this is like the ultimate lesson in giving an ultimatum, because the controllers basically said, well, what's he going to do? Fire all of us? He promptly fired 11,345 striking air controllers and banned them from federal service for life. Another reason I like President Reagan. All right, we're talking with Patricia out of Shreveport, Louisiana. She's in a house. It's night. She's got a pistol under her bed or a revolver, and there's somebody trying to break in. Bring us up to speed, Patricia. What happens?
Well, at first they were only trying the door, and then they whatever they did, they left. And a little bit later on, I had fallen back asleep because my neighbor said there was no cars in my driveway or anything, and my brother's dog, I inherited because he died, was in the house, and he woke me up with something scared him, and as he did, my old boyfriend used to tell me he wanted to put WD-40 on this old back door that squeaked when it opened. I told him, no, because I want to know when somebody's ever opening it,
Oh, okay.
And I refused to let him put WD-40 on it, and it was surrealistic now that I talk about it. The hair stood up on the back of my neck, my arms, everywhere. I heard the door opening, and I knew somebody was coming in. I grabbed the gun. I grabbed the phone, 911. The operator came on. Of course, she was trying to get all kind of information. I just told her, please shut up for a minute. And I walked into the hallway where I could look into a mirror that pointed at that door. The guy couldn't see me, but I could.
Mm-hmm. Still there, Patricia? Tell you what, let's try to. There she is. She's back. Go ahead, Patricia. You dropped out for a second. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm on a cell. I'm so sorry. I told the operator to please stop talking, that I wanted her to hear what I was going to say to him before shooting him. And if he didn't leave my house, I was going to do that. And I told him I had a gun pointing at his face, and that if he didn't leave my home immediately, I was going to shoot him. I said it twice. The whole time in my ear, this operator's saying, "Get out of the house, get out of the..." I'm like, "Shut up." And I said, "I can't get out of the house. He's standing in front of the door." Okay. So, you know, and I said it to him again. He did have an action that I believed at the time. I only had a fish tank light in the room. Only my fish tank light was on. So I couldn't really see a lot, and I could see movement, and it looked like it was towards me. And I pulled the trigger. The trigger was real stiff. I wasn't used to using that revolver. I've got a Taurus 9mm. I don't know what it is, but Taurus. And I also have a 28 Beretta that I use with a slide that are a lot easier to trigger pull. And this was a harder trigger pull. When I pulled it, I was aiming for his chest, but, you know, and I had hollow points in this gun. It hit the door first, went through the door, went into his head, and never left his head. I guess the door, I don't know, the door slowed it down to where when it went in his head, it didn't go anywhere else. But I didn't know that I'd hit him. I ran out the back door. Two people were getting into a car in my driveway. Left-hand turn, which I live on an island, so wrong move. They can't get off the island and make a left. So the police showed up a short time after that. I guess they found one of the people down the street. They finally found the driver. You know, it was a long time before I could even talk about this, because I went back in the house against the dispatcher's suggestion. I still had my gun, and I was confused because it was like trickery in my head. I thought when I shot at him that he had left the house. I thought I missed him. And what had happened was when I went out the other door and saw the people getting in the car, I really only saw one of them, but I knew I'd seen two doors open. So it was like trickery. I thought it was him, if that makes sense, but it was so dark outside.
It's also very common for you to not really be able to process all the information that's coming at you in the middle of the highly stressful thing like that. Let me ask you, Patricia, what was the outcome? I mean, did the man die? I went back in the house against the advice of the 911, and what I hadn't noticed was his feet actually laying behind the door. He was his half of his body was pushed against the glass like a storm door, and pushed against that door, and half his body was outside, half of it was inside. But I would assume that if it had been another circumstance and I hadn't have called 911 and had them on the phone, I probably would have been a lot longer in the investigation room afterwards. But come to find out, this guy had worked for my boyfriend years ago and had been to our house to do yard work and stuff, not inside, but yard work. And I had known him. So, you know, the theory that, you know, most of the people that commit crimes against people, they somehow ran across them at one point in their life. It's totally true. How long ago was this?
It was a long time for me to even talk about it. Probably 7 years ago. But they took my firearm from me. Not really my firearm, but one of the firearms I had. And everybody kept telling me, "You're not going to get it back. You're not going to get it back." And I said, "Well, why not? You know, I think it's my legal right to have it back." And once I did go to get it back after months of them telling me they had to send it to ballistics and blah, 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 because Shreveport's kind of a small place. But once I did go to get it back, I could go get it. the officer said, "Do you know who this gun is registered?" I said, "Sir, can I ask you a question? Is it against the law for me to have a gun that I don't know who it's registered to?" And he said, "Well, no." And I said, "Well, then who cares?" I said, "Probably a police officer. My ex-boyfriend had so many cops that were friends, and they were always giving him like old service revolvers that they were let have or something like that."
So let me jump in, Patricia. So evidently they ruled it a justifiable shoot then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, my bottom line on this is I'm thinking don't mess with the Marine.
Well, this is the bottom line, that when I come across people, and I'm from California, so I get a lot of flack, and I'm not living in California now, but we're farmers, so farmers are very conservative people. But people don't realize that being from California, that I'm not some liberal gun grab person. But the fact is that anybody that comes against me and says, "Well, nobody needs a gun, that's what we have the police for," it took the police 20 minutes to get to my house. 20
minutes. Wow. Unbelievable. Patricia, thank you for sharing that. I know it's hard. I know it's been a while. But a lot of people got a lot out of that. Heck of a story. Thank you. And I'm sorry, but I'm up against my break. I've got to go there right now. Wow, what's your take on that? 866-TALK-GUN.
Tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. Since 1979, Surefire has designed, machined, and assembled the finest flashlights and weapon-mounted lights right here in the U.S. From everyday carry flashlights with 1,200 lumens and mil-spec hard anodized finishes to the most reliable weapon lights on the market for duty use or your home defense firearm, Surefire has what you need. American built, American strong. Visit surefire.com.
Want great deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gun Dealio app today. With Gun Dealio, you can search for deals, listen to the Gun Talk podcast, watch gun videos, read gun news, and get notifications right to your phone about deals and special offers. Save money on the products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gun Dealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
It's the next generation target pistol, the SW22 Victory from Smith & Wesson. Stainless steel frame, interchangeable match barrel, thumb safety, fiber optic sights, and a Picatinny rail. The SW22 Victory is ready for anything, targets or small game. Also available with a threaded barrel or cryptic camo finish. And it's backed by the Smith & Wesson Lifetime Service Policy. Learn more about the SW22 Victory at smith-wesson.com.
Imagine the panic that came over this dad. He's working late when he got an alert on his smartphone. One of the motion-activated Blink cameras he just installed picked up something at his home. He pops open the Blink app and views the video clip of a man peering through his kitchen window. He calls 911 and alerts his wife. Helping prevent situations like this is what Blink is all about. I mean, the point of having a home security system is to help alert you before some creep breaks into your home, not after. Blink motion-activated HD cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor what's happening at home anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. No contracts, no subscriptions, and it works with Alexa. BlinkProtect.com or go to Amazon.com and search Blink Camera. Blink is an Amazon company. Boy, that story from Patricia was something, wasn't it? Holy cow. Line 1, Malin is with us out of Florence, Kansas. Hey, Malin, you're on Gun Talk. What's this old gun you got?
Hello, Tom. I have several, actually, 30-40 Craig Jorgensens. Ooh. And I really like those, especially I've got an old carbine that it's been my deer gun for decades. And I really like that 30-40 Craig cartridge.
Now, tell me why you like it so much.
Because when I was young, probably about 10, maybe 11, I was a small kid, my dad let me shoot his 1903 Springfield with 30-06.
Right.
It basically put me down on my ass. And
okay.
He let me. Then he hauled out the 30-40 Craig. Now that was the old long rifle, unmodified version, and I had to lean way back to hold that thing up. But I was able to stand up under it when it fired.
I should probably explain the 30-40 Craig was the cartridge that the U.S. military used between the 45-70 and the 30-06.
Yes. And it was the first smokeless powder cartridge. And
okay.
I just really liked that gun. I bought an old beat-up 30-40 Craig carbine, not one of the cut-down rifles, but a true carbine.
Okay.
And that was my deer gun for a long time. And I just like it. It's certainly powerful enough to take down any whitetail. And I never did go out elk hunting, but I know quite a few elk were taken down with 30-40 Craig.
Sure. Well, you got a 150 grain bullet going about 2,500 feet per second, and with good bullets, that's plenty. That'll take care of the job. And it's only a 40,000 cup pressure, which is considerably less than some of the later cartridges like 30-06 and all. So you got less recoil, but you have a gun that will work for you. And in your case, you got some history there, man. I mean, every time you pick one up, that's some serious history.
Yeah, I've got 4 of them right now, and every time I go to a gun show, I keep looking for them, and I usually manage to talk myself out of buying them. But
what are they going for now? How much do you have to pay for one these days?
Anywhere from about $750 to, for a good one in good condition, right on up to $2,000.
Wow. Okay, the collectors are in there now. Yeah, because you used to be able to get them for almost nothing, didn't you?
Yeah. My first collector grade one was one of the 1892 carbines, one of the very first production runs. And it is in real good shape. I've never fired it, but I only paid $1,200 for it.
So you're kind of a collector / investor, but also a shooter on these.
Yeah, because while I've never shot that one, I've shot all the others.
Right. Okay.
They're shooting guns.
That's fun. Is there a group of people? I mean, are there a number of people who collect the Craigs?
Probably, but I don't know them.
Okay.
There are. Well, the guy I bought it from is a collector.
Okay.
And
good deal.
But,
well, look, that's a great report. I love that range report because that's a rifle and a cartridge we hardly ever talk about, the 30-40 Craig. Thank you so much for sharing that, Malin. I appreciate that. Interesting stuff. And carry on. Keep looking for them. There are going to be some deals out there, I guarantee you. Appreciate that, sir. If you'd like to get in right now, we can still do that. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. And also, of course, we can get you lined up for the after show. By the way, I would love for you to share. Why don't you tell everybody? It's one thing for me to tell people about the after show. If you're an after show listener, if you've listened to part of it and you can explain it to people, call me right now and you can get on the air and you can tell people, we need to try, what the after show is like and why it is that you like to listen to it. 866-TALK-GUN. Just before we get out of here, I want to make sure that you really understand this deal. This whole 3D printer story is not about guns. It's about First Amendment. It's about free speech. It's about the government saying you can't publish something. The government, the court said they rejected that back in the Pentagon paper days, if you will. The government cannot stop the publication of something like this. And, of course, that horse is already gone, as we know. They're all over the Internet. But this is not a gun issue. This is a free speech, First Amendment issue. And when you're talking to people about it, just ask them, well, what information do you think the government should be able to stop you from sharing? What books should they be able to prevent from being published or printed? And ask them, why do you think the government should be in the business of stopping us from sharing ideas on the Internet? I think that may stop people right there. Patrick's on 3 out of Kansas City. Patrick, 327. You have one?
Oh, yes. I've had it for, approximately 2 years, right when I heard you talking about it, kind of when it came out. And it is just a fabulous gun to shoot. If your listeners, and whether they can go buy one or not, at least just go shoot one. They are just fun. They're fast, and it's just an enjoyable gun. But
which model do you have?
Ruger SP-101 4-inch stainless.
Nice. That's real nice.
I liked it so much, I went and bought its bigger brother in 357. And I guess my conundrum is I went into the gun store and saw that Henry now has a 327 and a lever action. So yes. I got kind of excited about that. And I've always wanted a lever action, whether it be in 357 or, 30-30. I know those are two different animals, but just getting your thoughts on any feedback on that and a lever action.
Well, yeah. You already know the drill. A full house 327 Federal load is the absolute equivalent of a 357 Magnum load, but you can also load it with 32 shorts, 32 Smith & Wesson, and you have like little pop gun rounds that are just fun to shoot. The 327 Federal rifles are a little hard to come by, but, if you really like the cartridge, and you obviously do, you got the revolver, I don't know why you wouldn't just go ahead and put in an order for a rifle in that caliber and just be patient and wait till it shows up.
Oh, well, they had one on the shelf. That's why I was being patient.
Run. Get back there and get that thing, man. Holy cow.
Yeah.
In fact, if you don't want it, just tell us where it is, and it'll be gone within like 3 minutes because somebody will run over and grab it.
That sounds good. Hey, I've got another quick follow-up question.
I got 30 seconds.
I got a Ruger LC9 and one of the original ones, and the pinky, I have the extended magazine. When my pinky sometimes hits that magazine, it releases without touching the magazine release. Is that more of a gun situation or maybe a magazine situation?
Try a different magazine. See if it does it with all the magazines. Could be an issue with that one. If it does with all of them, then it's a gun, and it may be that you need maybe a little bit stronger spring that holds it in. Or you may just need to alter the way you hold that pistol for that particular one. I don't know, but I would try some different mags and see how that works. Listen, I hate to do it, but I've got to run because we are out of time right now. If you're on hold right now, don't go anywhere. We're gonna get you into the after show, and that's always a lot of fun. So we'd like to have you there as well. In the meantime, don't forget, this is National Shooting Sports Month. So you need to be taking people out to the range. Take them out there, let them have some fun. Check out the NSSF's website. You can get lots of information on where to shoot. Go to wheretoshoot.org. In the meantime, be sure to have fun and share the gospel of safe gun use. We'll see you next week.